Hey, good morning everyone. Saturday morning, 27th of June, 2020. This morning's devotion is a reading from Psalm 128, reading from verse 1 and 2. And they read, "Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in his ways. You will eat the fruit of your labor. Blessings and prosperity will be yours." What wonderful words of assurance. In today's short devotion, we have a look at the title, Learning the Hard Way. And a character comes to mind of Samson. We've all heard of Samson. And if you want to read his story, you can go to the book of Judges, and you'll find his story in chapters 13, 14, 15, and 16. But Samson had great potential, and he threw it away. Now we may ask ourselves, why did he do this? Well, there are a few reasons. Firstly, he failed to control his impulses. He was physically strong, but morally he was weak. He deliberately ignored God's principles, and his life became a pathetic cycle of failure. He never learned. He kept making the same mistakes over and over again. For Samson, it was more of a game of how close to the fire can I get without being burnt. Now, I'm pretty sure that there are many of us who have made some mistakes that we would rather not repeat in life. I know I've made many mistakes. And I hope and pray I have learned from them as well. The second reason why Samson threw everything away, why he failed to learn, was that he developed unhealthy relationships. And these are very important. The question for us today is, what about your relationships? Do your friends keep you from living for God? Do your friends break you down? They constantly criticize you, or do they build you up? In Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10, we find the author writing, "My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent." It's very easy to go that way. And once you've begun on that slope, it's a slippery slide to try and get off. Oftentimes we find ourselves in a sticky situation and we pray, "Lord, if you get me out of this mess, I promise I will serve you for all the days of my life." God's heard plenty of those prayers, and he knows the outcome as well. So here's another question for us. Is God an afterthought or a convenience to you? That when things get tough and you're backed into a corner, that you turn to him in desperation, but when everything is hunky-dory, that you ignore him? Think about it. We continue in the story of Samson, and we find that only after he was captured by the Philistines and had his eyes gouged out, so in other words, he was blind, and he was grinding grain like an ox, that he turned to God and he prayed. We could possibly liken the story of Samson to the parable of the prodigal son, and this we can find in Luke chapter 15, reading from verse 11 through to verse 32. My dear friends, life is a great teacher, and we would be wise to consider the lessons that we have been taught, as they are there for our benefit. They are there to turn us back to God, to seek him and to rely on his grace and provision. We need to use this time that we have to be taught and to learn that we will not keep on making the same mistakes over and over again, doing the same thing, yet expecting a different result. I thought I'd leave this with you today because we've got the weekend ahead of us. Hopefully we will ponder this and review our lives and see how we are going wrong. My dear friends, may the Lord be with you, may he bless you, may he cause his face to shine upon you and be with you always. Goodbye.